love makes us do really ridiculous things. And in this comic, we're going to be seeing one woman's journey into what she can actually achieve when fueled by pure love. This is Ain't No Deaths. Now, let us begin. Because our story starts out in a desert. We see our MC, Ryder. She is on a journey for love. But before she can reach her destination, she notices a crashed out carriage and looks to investigate because this is the wild, wild west. You never know what you could find. And oddly enough, she found a little doll. Bending over and picking it up, she didn't notice someone approaching her until she heard a voice. "That's mine." As she turned around with her gun ready, she was ready to open fire. Then she realized this person was just a kid. She had one of those. All this journey, this pain she's about to go through, was for her kid to begin with. Her life used to be perfect. The perfect daughter, the perfect home. And she wasn't alone. She had a perfect partner who loved her truthfully as much as she loved him. Her life, in every sense of the word, was low-key perfect. But everything changed when she got a cough. It was simple enough until she saw blood. She had tuberculosis, and in this time period, that was a death sentence, and everybody knew it. Back in the present though, someone was approaching her from behind. It was the mother of the little girl. She had one simple request: take what you need, but please take your gun off my daughter. On reflex, she turned around and tossed the mother the toy, but this was a fake. Utilizing the blind side she just created, she kicked the mother to her kid. Now, she had both of them dead to rights, with a choice to make: end them, or just keep going on my journey. It took her a second, but deep down, she was still a good person. So, she let them be, because she had a journey, and in all honesty, she needed a lot of good karma right now. She had a long journey ahead of her, and it was going to be cold and lonely. Thankfully, she wasn't alone. All she had was her sickness and her horse. She remembers the last day, the day she realized she was going to die. She had just been visited by the town doctor, and he had told her of her fate. He was about to leave when her husband stopped him. The doctor explained to him that he had a solution that would allow her to live on for at least a year, but she didn't want to take it. And he knew his wife, so he knew better than to argue. He let him go on his merry way. But suddenly, he heard his daughter scream for him. Something was wrong. He headed inside, and for some reason, his wife was getting ready for a journey. He said, "Are you fucking serious?" And she replied, "When have you ever known me not to be serious?" He tried to explain, "This isn't you, not anymore. You're a mother now. You are a mother." But she said, "This is me. I've only been playing the part," before using her dagger to cut off her hair, looking at him dead in the eye. "Do you remember me now?" With tears in his eyes, he replied, "Yes, I do." Before she came closer, and he held her close, because like I said, he knows his wife. And if she said she was going to leave, she was going to leave. Back in the present though, something very weird was happening. You see, for some reason, she was able to see the ghosts of dead people, all of them singing to her like some kind of twisted choir of the dead, and she couldn't help but follow. As she followed, she met an individual, a very poised man, glowing white just like the ghost. He goes on to introduce himself as the beacon, a shining light put in place to guide the spirits of the dead to their resting place. Now all of you be embraced by the water, but this was not her plan. She didn't want to die. She screamed, "This is the mistake. I am not one of you." But he said, "Of course you are. That's the only reason you're here." And just like that, she started to sink because he said her time has come. She fought and tussled, but at some point, she just started to accept it, about to fall into the embrace of fellow dead men, when something yanked her from the water. And that something we'd come to find out was her horse. She was absolutely shocked, and on reflex, she pulled out both of her pistols ready to do battle. But the beacon was gone. This place was back to normal. She chalked it all up to her being psychotic, but she really wasn't. He really was there, and her horse really saved her. But right now, she had to focus on her journey because she still had a lot of distance to cover. And like I said, she really was still dying. With every step of the way, she coughed up blood, coughing up blood across the country, across the very desert. She was traveling like she had a destination, but the destination was unbelievable. She was traveling to the ends of the earth, literally. And then her journey got sour because she approached two trees, identical and also symmetrical. This was supposed to be the border between the land of the dead and the land of man. But the thing is, her horse was still alive. He wasn't dying, so he didn't even want to approach. He knew that this area was not for him. She tried to force him, she pleaded, she begged, but he couldn't pass. With tears in her eyes, she understood. She really did, because he was the only thing she could take on her journey. She left so much behind. Even before she left, she tried to apologize, but her husband didn't want to hear it. Don't apologize to me. Apologize to your kid. So she tried. She tried to explain her predicament, but she was just a child. She didn't just want her mother to go, but her mother had no choice. She promised to return, and with tears in her eyes, she departed from her family, departed from her life, and now she was departing from her horse. Because at the end of the day, she understood this was not his path, but this is mine. Without looking back, she put one foot in front of the other with tears in her eyes. She had a journey to continue, and the journey was still unbelievably long. But she still had enough strength of conviction to walk through the desert, knowing full well her path might lead to ruin, but she was still going to make it anyway. And then she arrived at a lamppost in the dead of night in a quiet town. She explained to the person waiting underneath the lamppost that she was looking for Cyprus, and he explained not many can afford the trip, but she had payment. So, 2 silver coins to be exact. So, he accepted it. Standing up, she realized this man was massive, and with a tap of his staff, the very ground started to transform. The very ground, the very mountain started to split open, directing her on a path to the Deadlands, because this was the end of the earth. But he was curious. What are you looking for at the town at the ends of the earth? Not seeing any reason not to answer, she gave him a reply. I just got some bad news, and rather than laying down and dying like an insect, I've decided to come here. And as she saw this place, she was in shock, but then she stilled herself because she knew what she had to do, because her journey was tough. But now she had a path to kill death itself. Yes, that is correct. She is on a suicide run to kill death so she could stay with her family. And boy, does it get wicked.